so they can make them now, or you can write in the chat. In the meantime, I will give the floor to Nicholas for the second part of second methodology that we are going to listen today, that of creative STEAM. So, Nicholas, what is yours?
The moment, yes. Well, thank you very much. I'm very happy after so many meetings with the partners. Now I meet the real people who are interested about these methods. My name is Nicholas Kamtsis. Mainly, I'm a theater director since 1980. And I'm artistic also director of Topos Alou Theater for adults and Aeroplio Theater for children. And I'm also educational researcher since 1990. My subject is the link between art, theater, and not only with the education. As a founder of Center of Higher Education in Theater Studies in Athens, I will present in the frame of academia two methods, creative STEAM today and creative learning after a few days. Let's focus on creative STEAM method today, which is a method on how a teacher of secondary school can use theater techniques to teach the science, mathematics in the classroom. So, arts and science. What is the relationship between these two first point of view? Is there a relationship or not? Can they work together for the benefit of educating students and teachers? Can art enrich the educational process and give other new extension to knowledge experience? We will investigate this section. The relationship between the arts and especially theater and STEM courses is not new and unique. We are reminding the mechanism in the ancient times of ancient Greek theater, the machines of Leonardo da Vinci, and much more. Through the season, there have been many efforts to connect art and education to put more creativity, more imagination, and innovation in the process of training. In theater, we use many systems belongs to the mechanism of electricity, of electricians, old, the new computer technology, and recently the AI. Now is the time for the theater to return the profits we get from STEM and enrich the education, especially in secondary school. Theater and education. Research has shown that integrating theater and its practices into educational settings offers substantial benefits, practicality, and relevance. In elementary education, various strategies incorporate drama as a key tool for creative learning, which emphasize fostering creativity and innovation in the learning process. Activities such as role-playing have proven particularly effective in promoting teamwork and collaboration among students, enhancing their learning experience through active engagement. Theater and education. Applying theater techniques in secondary school presents more challenges than in elementary school, where younger children are naturally more open to imaginative play and games. However, In secondary school, student often becomes more self-conscious, more concerned with a peer perception, and less willing to engage in activities that might make them feel, let's say, more fragile. That said, these difficulties are what make applying theater techniques at the secondary level even more interesting. By pushing through these barriers, theater becomes an effective tool for self-expression, collaboration, and breaking down social walls in the classroom. When older students finally open up to theatrical methods, the result can be transformative. They not only learn academic concepts more deeply through active engagement, but also develop greater emotional intelligence, communication skills, and a sense of belonging within the group. The benefits. It is appropriate to mention here what these benefits are. First of all, critical thinking. Children sharpen their ability to navigate challenges and think critically, gaining a deeper understanding of the value of constructive feedback. These skills extend far beyond the classroom, equipping them to thrive in social interaction, problem-solving situations, and throughout their lives. Cooperation, second. Theater demands a unique form of discipline that fosters true collaboration, whether it is in the script, the conceptual development, or the performance itself. Every element relies on teamwork to bring the creative vision to life. Third, creativity. Through imaginative expression, children gain a fresh perspective on the world, allowing them to explore it in unique, innovative ways. This creative approach equips them with the skills to navigate future challenges, fostering adaptability and forward-thinking problem-solving. Communication. Art, especially theater, amplifies children's social interaction, enhancing their ability to communicate effectively. Through creative expression, they not only connect with others, but also deepen their understanding of emotions and ideas, fostering more dynamic and meaningful exchange. Expressive, the fifth, media development. Students discover innovative ways to convey their messages and master the art of communicating their ideas through verbal and non-verbal techniques. As vocabulary expands and body language refines, they learn to express themselves clearly and creatively. Creative STEM project, that's what we are speaking about. The main objective of the Creative STEM methodology, which we have developed in details in a specific previous Erasmus Plus project, is to facilitate the integration of theater approaches in secondary education through the creation and refinement of appropriate resources. Our research focuses on the development of a methodology that explores the integration of theater in secondary education. This methodology encompasses the secondary curriculum while providing practical implementation strategies. An integrated approach that includes both theoretical and practical aspect is developed and applied throughout academia project, using many situation examples, case studies, combining with other methodologies. It is imperative to emphasize that our proposed strategy advocates that students actively engage with the course material rather than relying on rote memorization. This makes the learning process more engaging and sustainable, as the student not only acquires knowledge that is likely to be retained, but also actively engage in first-hand experience. The foundation of this study and this suggestion is the poetic notion that original and groundbreaking scientific inquiry is, at its core, an art form. Much like an artist, the innovative scientist is one who uses imagination and creative inspiration to venture into a new territory. The narratives that remain explored and unfamiliar. This exploration is not simply a methodical process, but an artistic journey where assumptions are made with the elegance of possibility, guided by the hypothetical what if. In this sense, the scientist becomes both creator and discoverer, embracing the unknown with visionary curiosity and transforming the abstract into a new realms of understanding. So let's speak about this word, the if. This two-letter word serves as the basis for everything in the field of artistic expression and scientific discovery. It activates the driving force that stimulates the imagination. And this process occurs in both the artist and the scientist. The harmonious integration of imagination and logic makes it easier for the artist and the scientist to reach a result that is perfectly logical and conclusion that is extremely scientifically proven, even though it started from an hypothetical what if. How else could scientists of earlier times successfully perceive the waving nature of acoustic impulse, for example? The presence of orbiting electrons and the cosmic phenomena of black holes without the basis of provided by the faculty of imagination otherwise. The scientists engage in the process of hypothesis, if, of observation, reflection, experimentation, and successive analysis, finally arriving at the convincing result after a series of remarkable experience. Imagination, icon, experiment, and proof conclusion. By integrating imagination and art into education through the integration of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and the arts, commonly referred to as STEAM, we seek to achieve the same goals that are achieved in art. Because an essential aspect of art involves the exploration and enjoyment that comes from encountering new concepts, new emotions, and unexpected encounters. But exploration and enjoyment are at the heart of knowledge. When engaging with a work of art, visual art, theater, music, or any other medium, a dialogue emerges within the viewer. This dialogue involves the interaction between the impressions evoked by the artwork, the emotions it evokes, the individual's past experience, and the eventual activation of their memories. Through this process, the viewer engages in a reflective and analytical dialogue, exercises critical thinking. The game. Here we have to point out the great importance of another misunderstood and exhausted from education and not only operation, the game. The key element of both the child and the scientist. The child plays by making different things with the Lego, but also the scientist playing, mixing different materials to make a new one in chemistry, for example. The fact that the adult has some other materials in his play from the child's Lego makes a little difference. The creative STEP method wants to put the game to play a crucial role in the learning process teachers develop in the classroom. Also, in the theater, we say we play on stage. So this common word has some crucial meaning. So entering now the STEAM territory. At this point, it is advisable to give a definition of STEAM and what we mean by that. STEAM, with an A between E and M, is an educational approach to learning that uses science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics as access point for guiding student inquiry, dialogue, and critical thinking. The end results are students who take thoughtful risks, engage in experiential learning, persist in problem solving, embrace collaboration, and work through the creative process. I create, you create, I play, you play. Well, the performing arts have the unique potential to transform the traditional classroom into a dynamic and creative educational experience. This shift breaks away from conventional teacher-centered, if we can say that, methods, and offers a field of action that is overflowing with new and varied stimuli. Such a shift is bound to affect all levels and aspects of education and teaching. Through role-playing, improvisation, and creative expression, students activate their imagination, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence in a way that go beyond formal academic instruction. Student functioning shift to a more creative realm where their thinking and imagination are awakened to create, to propose, and decide. The teacher expands the field of education, enters into question of art, present work of art, to pass on to the teaching of the subject he wants to teach, even a particular work of art that he will use take on other meaning, and this is legitimate since the work of arts is used and obey the educational process. Now, what do we mean by this? Let's take an example. We all know this painting. Edvard Munch, famous painting, The Scream. When confronted as an art in a gallery, in a museum, the painting expresses strong feeling of despair. When we enter the field of science, it can be a reason and a starting point to talk, to learn, experiment, to play and discuss about sound waves. As the central figure of the painting expresses aloud in one scream, therefore, Edvard Munch painting can be subject to analysis, to study and knowledge of sound waves. Why not? A painting makes it possible for the teacher to approach many scientific questions. We will refer to two of the most obvious ones. What could have happened to make the main character scream like this? We ask the class a question. Many would answer something in his environment or inside him, something universal or unique that he sees in front of him. If the teacher wants to refer to the 0 point of his inspiration, the inspiration of the painter, of this famous painting, she will find out that it was created on the occasion of the explosion of a volcano. Material and gases that were ejected spread disaster and horror among the people. This gives the central figure this extreme expression that we see in the eyes, in the screaming mouth, in the place of the hand, and in the position of the body. Is the rest of the painting beyond the central figure theme. Red, fiery colors to convey the sky and atmosphere is not far from the natural phenomenon called atmospheric perspective. The creation of the polar stratospheric clouds form after the eruption of the volcanoes and become visible during twilights. So it is available to the teacher to define the central theme and focus on it to do a STEAM lesson, simple or complicated, about sound waves, about volcanoes, or polar stratospheric clouds, if she wants. So let's talk about what are the steps a teacher needs to take in order to shift his or her teaching style from the traditional way to a lesson according to the creative STEAM method. First of all, and obvious, she must has very good knowledge of the scientific subject. This knowledge is not only attached to the wording of the textbooks, but the teacher must know the subject well, that he will teach that he has been created and has seen it in front of him in images. We do not need to know the characteristic of the movement of our planets in our solar system, but also have images of this perpetual move. Second, imagination and inspiration. Excellent knowledge of the scientific subject will also result in art intervention for learning and teaching during the lesson. Let's use an example. As I told you, as I mentioned, our solar system. If we have a picture of the movement of the planet in our mind, in our vision, then it is not a long distance to imagine and inspire a dance in the classroom. The planets are swirling around the sun and themselves as it is in the tango or a valse dance. Expanded horizon and interest in areas such as the arts, and in any case, beyond the specialized subject he teaches. The involvement of art in the learning process has some danger. Yes. One of them is that the wealth and the freedom offered by art, whether it is theatrical action, role-playing, or our starting point is a painting or a movie scene, maybe, can make us escape from our goal. we have to remember that it is nothing more than a lesson and knowledge. Our goal is also to collaborate and to develop critical thinking of students, and not endless discussion on art issues. We must not forget that art, in our case, serves the process of knowledge, of learning and education. Finally, exact design of the course structure, the phases and the stages from which it will pass, so that from an art starting point to the end, the scientific conclusion are required by the STEM lesson. The course structure must be very well designed so that what we have mentioned above and the action of the students' involvement to spread the lesson and get it out of its goal. Concentration of the material we need from the lesson. These materials can be supervisory material in video, slides, or paper maybe. We can find it in books, mainly from the internet. The material must cover both parts of the lesson, the scientific and the artistic. Let's see a procedure step by step. First level of approach. The starting point of the lesson should often be from an artistic event we have chosen. A painting, a construction, a simple painting or collage with simple materials, a theatrical or a movement action, a dance, for example. Let's take an example for the third grade biology of the Greek curriculum, the anatomy of the human body. The teacher can present the painting. I choose Rembrandt's painting, Lesson in Anatomy by Dr. Nicholas Talp, and talk about it. After some comments on the painting, the faces we see, their expression, the color, the light, or the painters and his life. If it is a famous person like Rembrandt in this case, the discussion can easily lead to a description of the nervous system of the human body. The discussion between the teacher and the students should allow students to discuss and participate with questions and comments. The second level of approach. On purpose, I choose different examples in order to see and to cover many different lessons. The references in the painting are very important, and students will certainly find them interesting, but the subject is the lesson. Method and concrete steps, we come to our topic. We choose a work of art to reach the conclusion we want. We reach and concentrate on those conclusions, on their characteristic and their nature, on their composition and their behavior. For example, if we previously talked about the swirling of the celestial bodies or the solar system, we can start from a painting by an unknown illustrator like this, like Adrian Chesterman, to talk about, to observe the colors, the volumes, the shapes, to then conclude on their movement. The same can be done for the movement of electrons and protons in the carbon molecules or copper. Third level of approach. There is a consistent effort to involve children in various activities. This activity may be either planned improvisation based on specific or an external random element. In the context of astronomy, for example, class discussing the orbital dynamics of celestial bodies. The realm of art offers numerous avenues for exploration and engagement. The teacher for instance, can organize the Galileo trial. This historical event, depicted in Joseph Nicolas Robert Fleury's painting from the Italian school, represents Galileo's defense of its claim that the Earth rotates on its axis, contrary to prevailing beliefs. Action is the key for the lesson to be experiential, maintain its collaborative nature, to foster critical thinking, open up new horizon for children, develop their imagination and sensitivity, to make them, through dialogue, express themselves freely, to express their opinion, whatever it may be, will result from their critical thinking, to engage in conversation and confront the view of other students, and thus develop their relationship and sociability. The fourth level of approach. At the third level of approach, before, the action component presents a sense of freedom and incorporates various elements of enjoyment and fun related to the subject matter. In the fourth stage, however, our focus shifts to the scientific theme, emphasizing the conclusions drawn from the previous stage of analysis and activity. The experiential process we follow was designed to create images and representations that would be retained in the student's memory and experience as acquired knowledge. This is achieved if the teacher must carefully select a meaningful and significant activity for the third level of engagement, an activity that is closely related to the topic, such as any kind of music, of improvisation or painting. Aristotle puts it very well. The action must have meaning and be of paramount importance, while other important events must occur before it. It is necessary to ask a series of questions to establish a clear connection between the activity and the lesson to be taught. Questions aimed at defining and clarifying the characteristic of the previous activity in relation to the lesson. If we consider the case of Galileo and the organizing discussion, the question asked by the teacher should be based on Galileo's arguments. Thus, step by step, we leave the dramatic artistic element and are led to experiential and scientific evidence, including measurements that documents the existence of different orbits followed by the planets in our solar system. Final results and conclusions from a STEAM lesson. The art space was the start of our trip. During our discussion, we look at a certain piece of art and talk about all its involved parts. We put together each of the different parts separately. It was decided and suggested that some of these things the artist painted went beyond what they were supposed to show. We came up with improvisation and activities in the classroom that were engaging and involved moving around. We also added a theatrical feel to them. Finally, we came to scientific results, which was a departure from the artistic mood. As usual and proper, we have gone back to using science terms, maths, technology, and engineering. This is the STEM procedure. The A between E and M, and why we advocate it. There is several areas in which such a process is both necessary and important for the overall development of the young students. The process of learning involves both the acquisition of knowledge and the accumulation of experience. In this framework, the function of educational institutions go beyond basic specialization and training, as they seek to provide a complete and meaningful education in the real sense of the word. So the learning process was portrayed, and experiences were used to transfer knowledge from the teacher to the pupil. In the conventional educational approach, students are typically exposed to abstract concepts, terminologies, and legal frameworks that may seem disconnected from their everyday experiences. These concepts are often encountered solely within the confines of the classroom. However, via the implementation of the STEAM process and the integration of artistic elements, students are provided with an opportunity to engage with, experience these concepts first-hand actively. In contrast to the traditional way of teaching, where the teacher only used their energy and power, while the student passively accepted and paid attention, the current classroom environment fosters active student engagement. This is evident via the formation of the dynamic discussion groups that engage in critical analysis, evaluation of various aspects, constructive argumentation, and ultimately the formulation of informed conclusions. The instructor refrains from delivering dry scientific argument, definition, and rules in the classroom. Instead, she fosters a lecture with references and visual imagery. By incorporating art as a medium, the pedagogical boundaries of the classroom are expanded, allowing students to broaden their experience and gain exposure to the vast and culturally diverse realm of artistic expression. Well, until the full comprehensive site of academia is created, those who want to learn more about the methodology before Florence, about creative STEAM, can refer to the site stemproject.eu, where they will find both theoretical explanation and many case studies of all STEM courses. Thank you for your attention. If there is any questions, comments, I'm available to hear.
Okay. Are there any comments or questions? So, if there are no comments or questions, you are going to receive the videos from both presentations. Thank you very much for being here with us today, and you will get a reminder for the next webinar, and you can let us know about anything that you would like our support.